If you're the kind of person who's always felt like life hits harder than you can handle, listen closely. This is not about motivation. It's about transformation. You train your body to get stronger, but your mind, that's what shapes your destiny. Until you master it, you'll keep reacting to life instead of leading it. But once your mind is forged, nothing can break you. Not loss, not failure, not fear. Train your mind or be controlled by everything that breaks it. In few moments, you will discover how to train your mind to stay unshakable, no matter what life throws at you. 1, train your mind like a muscle, because it is one. The most powerful force you own is the mind you often ignore. You feed your body, you rest your body, you stretch your body. But when did you last condition your thoughts like a soldier trains his reflex? Your mind left idle turns weak, but sharpened daily, it can conquer mountains. You must train your thoughts just like a blacksmith molds steel with heat, repetition, and purpose. The world will offer you chaos. If you're not actively strengthening your focus, you will bend to distraction. Scripture warns in Romans 12:2, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That is not a suggestion, it's a command. You train your mind by guarding your inputs, by controlling what you feed it, the voices you hear, the goals you fixate on, the beliefs you allow to settle. You sharpen it by deciding who you are before the world does. George Washington Carver, born into slavery, limited resources, no access, but he trained his mind like a warrior, relentless reading, endless curiosity, unwavering belief. And with that mind, he transformed agriculture, blessed millions, and advised presidents. So what about you? You have more access than he ever dreamed of. Will you use it, or will you excuse it? Discipline is the gatekeeper to mental strength. You want strength, then you must sacrifice comfort. You want power, then you must obey order. Discipline is not punishment. It is preparation. And only those who submit to daily control will one day control their destiny. The world will tell you to chase ease, pursue pleasure, and avoid pressure. But what it doesn't tell you is this: comfort is a thief. It steals your potential while wrapping you in warm excuses. Every great man who ever rose to power first bowed to discipline, not because he enjoyed it, but because he understood it. Discipline is the silent architect of greatness. It is the soul's way of saying, I am not a slave to my moods. You say you want to succeed? Then your calendar must prove it. What you prioritize daily is a declaration of who you are becoming. You say you want peace? Then your habits must protect it. There can be no peace for the man who tolerates chaos in his decisions, in his schedule, or in his mind. Proverbs 25:28 warns us, like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control. In ancient times, a city without walls was not a city, it was a target. If you do not govern your mornings, your impulses, your responses, then your fortress is already breached. The enemy does not need to knock when the door is already open. Discipline means doing what builds you, not what soothes you. It means doing what matters, especially when you don't feel like it. It is choosing your future over your feelings. The man who obeys discipline is not weak, he is dangerous. Because when everyone else quits, he remains. When others are distracted, he is focused. And when the storm comes, as it always will, he does not run. He rises. Andrew Carnegie did not stumble into greatness. He constructed it brick by disciplined brick. His days were not decided by mood or impulse, but by order. He guarded his time like treasure. He chose his associations like a general chooses his soldiers. He did not allow laziness, gossip, or chaos to find a seat at his table. And because he mastered his discipline, he mastered his domain. Discipline is not something you practice occasionally. It becomes your identity. It becomes the armor that protects your purpose and the sword that carves your future. It is not just about waking up early or checking boxes. It is about commanding your life with conviction, about telling your emotions, you work for me now. Start today, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Begin with one routine, one non-negotiable, one act of defiance against comfort. Speak to yourself with authority. Decide that excuses have expired. Every time you choose order over indulgence, you build a wall around your soul. And brick by brick, you become the fortress, unbreakable, unshakable, unstoppable. Discipline is the highest form of self-respect. It is saying, I was not made to be ruled by urges, but to rule over them. And when you live this truth long enough, you won't just have strength, you will be strength. You won't just chase power, you will command it. Because destiny does not belong to the comfortable. It belongs to the disciplined. 3, thoughts become reality. When backed by faith and action, you are not your environment. You are what you repeatedly imagine in spite of it. The world around you may shout limitations, but the world within you whispers possibility. Every success you have ever heard of, every building, every business, every breakthrough began not in a factory, not in a bank, but in the unseen chamber of the mind. Thoughts are seeds, but seeds don't grow unless they are planted, watered, and worked with intention. Most people entertain ideas. They flirt with dreams. They speak of goals, but sleep with doubt. But you must do something different. You must marry your vision. You must say, I do to the dream, and then refuse divorce, no matter how hard the road. Because belief that bends under pressure is not belief, it is a wish. James 1:8 warns us, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. If you dance between belief and doubt, if your faith rises and falls with the weather or the crowd, then you will remain stuck forever circling the gate, but never entering. Vision requires fortitude. It requires a decision to believe even when the evidence says otherwise. Because faith is not a feeling, it is a choice. You must train your mind to expect the results. Rehearse your success in silence until it becomes your second nature. See it so clearly that reality has no choice but to conform. But do not stop there. Belief without action is a hallucination, and action without belief is exhaustion. But together they are dynamite, explosive, world-changing. Booker T. Washington, born into slavery, born with nothing, yet he dared to imagine education for all. In a world that said, you can't, he quietly said, watch me. He saw schools where there were none. He saw dignity where others saw shame. He saw a future that did not yet exist, and then he built it. His life was not luck. It was the manifestation of focused thought, unbreakable faith, and daily disciplined motion. So I ask you, what do you imagine? Are you just daydreaming, or are you declaring? Are you sitting in hope, or are you moving in purpose? Are your thoughts idle passengers, or are they soldiers marching toward a mission? Your environment may be loud. It may be messy. It may tell you that you are too late, too poor, too unqualified. But none of that matters, because your future is not written in the stars. It is written in your thoughts, and those thoughts are waiting, begging to be commanded. Decide now. Choose the picture. Hold it. Nourish it. Feed it with daily actions and fierce declaration. Tell your thoughts where to go and make your feet follow, because success is not stumbled upon. It is summoned. Summoned by the man who sees with his mind before he ever sees with his eyes. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for signs. You are the sign. You are the seed. You are the sower. If you refuse to faint, you will be the harvest. 4. Emotions are messengers, not masters. Your emotions are powerful, but they were never designed to lead. They are signals, not steering wheels. Until you train your mind to rise above your emotions, you will continue to sink with them. Emotion is energy. It surges. It moves. It speaks. But it was never meant to dictate your direction. You must be the driver, not the passenger. You were not created to be governed by temporary waves. Anger, fear, anxiety, shame. These are visitors, not residents. They knock at the door, but you do not have to hand them the keys. Let them pass through, but never let them unpack. Psalm 42:11 asks, why, my soul, are you downcast? Why so disturbed within me? Put your hope in God. This is not a cry of surrender. It is a call to command. It is the voice of a man talking to himself, reminding his soul of its source. You must learn to speak to yourself more than you listen to yourself. Emotions will shout, but you must whisper back truth. How? Pause. Breathe. Question the story. Choose the higher narrative. Repeat again and again until your mind becomes the gatekeeper, not the prisoner. The battlefield is always internal before it is external. Before battles are won in the world, they are conquered in the mind. Your greatest victories will not come from fighting others, but from mastering your response. Abraham Lincoln led a fractured nation through its darkest hour. He was not immune to sorrow, betrayal, or rage. He felt it all, but he followed none of it blindly. He trained himself to pause, to reflect, to study the weight of his words before releasing them. He led with wisdom, not impulse. That is why his leadership outlived the chaos. History does not just remember his victory, it remembers his vision. Your mind must be stronger than your mood. Your vision must speak louder than your voice. You will feel things that is human, but what you follow determines what you become. The next time a wave rises, whether it's frustration, fear, or fatigue, let it come. Let it wash over you, but never let it take the throne. Do not abdicate the seat of your soul to something fleeting. You are not weak because you feel you are alive. You are aware. That is strength. But strength mismanaged turns into sabotage. Feelings without filters lead to regret. Emotions unchecked lead to explosions. And a life led by emotional impulse is a life that spins in circles. Speak order. Speak vision. Speak peace. Discipline your emotions the way a general trains his army. They may protest, but they will obey. Emotions make great servants, but terrible masters. And you were never meant to serve them. They were meant to serve you. So today, decide. You are not a puppet of your feelings. You are the architect of your focus. Let emotion inform you, but let conviction guide you. And when you do, storms will come, but you will stand. Not because the winds are soft, but because your roots are deep. Not because your soul never trembles, but because your mind never surrenders. Mental strength begins with identity. Know who you are. You cannot rise beyond what you believe you are. Your mind builds ceilings from your self-image. If you see yourself as small, weak, average, you will act accordingly. You will choose safety. You will shrink from opportunity. You will hesitate where you should strike. But if you believe you are chosen, prepared, and built for impact, you will rise accordingly. Not because the world changed, but because your definition changed. Every action begins in identity. Your self-concept is your compass. It is the silent command behind your decisions. Proverbs 23:7 declares, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Not what he wishes, not what he says, but what he thinks in his heart. The language you use about yourself, even in silence, builds the walls or opens the gates to your future. Your thoughts are blueprints. If you design with limits, you will build a prison. To train your mind, you must first decide who you are, not based on your failures, not based on your titles, not based on your past, but based on truth, based on what is possible, based on purpose. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become after it. Helen Keller could not hear. She could not see, but she did not let that become her identity. She did not define herself by her lack. She defined herself by what she could learn, what she could contribute, who she could become. And because she did, the world opened to her. She wrote books, gave speeches, changed minds. Because her mind was trained to see possibility, not limitation. You don't need the world's permission to elevate. You don't need applause. You don't need a perfect track record. You need a new agreement with yourself, an internal covenant that says, "This is who I am now." And then you must repeat that agreement until your soul believes it, until your actions confirm it, until your environment catches up. You are not your weakness. You are not your wound. You are not your delay. You are who you decide to be. And that decision, that repeated decision, is the birthplace of mental strength. Every time you choose a higher identity, every time you speak purpose over pain, every time you walk in alignment with truth rather than trauma, you become stronger. Don't ask the world who you are. Tell it. Don't wait for validation, declare identity. Because your future is not waiting on conditions, it's waiting on conviction. You must anchor your mind in truth until doubt is drowned, until fear is outnumbered, until insecurity is silenced by certainty. The training begins with what you believe. Say it, write it, live it, not once but daily, until it becomes second nature. Until you stop trying to convince yourself and simply know you were not made to survive. You were made to shape, not to hide, but to shine. And no matter what you've heard, you have permission to rise. You are not small. You are not forgotten. You are not stuck. You are becoming. And the moment you believe that is the moment your rise begins. You win first in the dark before you win in the light. Victory does not begin on the stage. It begins in the shadows where no one claps, No one sees and no one affirms you. It is in the silent hours, the unseen labor, the thankless repetition that destiny begins to take shape. Mental strength is not born under spotlights. It is forged in silence. When the world sleeps and you remain in prayer, in study, in motion, your future starts to shift. Quietly, deeply, permanently. Most people quit not because they lack strength, but because they crave applause too early. They want proof before the process is finished. But Isaiah 45:3 reminds us, I will give you hidden treasures, riches stored in secret places. Your greatest breakthroughs are often found where no one is watching, in hidden places, in sacred solitude. You don't need an audience to evolve. You need discipline. You need vision. You must become comfortable in obscurity, not resentful, not anxious, comfortable. You must learn to trust the process, even when it feels like it's leading nowhere, because the seed doesn't complain while it's underground. It grows in the dark before it ever reaches the light. And so must you. Train your mind to remain focused, even when progress is invisible, even when there's no applause, no results, no recognition. The quiet season is your proving ground. It is the furnace where character is refined, where resolve is tempered, and where calling is confirmed. Thomas Edison, long before he was praised, he failed. Not once, not twice, thousands of times. In a lab with no crowd, no fame, no funding, just belief, just faith. In the unseen, he didn't chase claps, he chased solutions. He didn't demand instant praise, he gave persistent pursuit. And because he was faithful in the darkness, the world eventually saw his light. You must do the same. You must learn to endure the quiet season. Because if you cannot carry the weight of obscurity, you will collapse under the weight of visibility. Fame without foundation is a fall waiting to happen, but obscurity builds roots, and roots make you unshakable. So don't curse the silence. Use it, build in it, pray in it, train in it. Let the quiet become your sanctuary. The noise will come soon enough, and when it does, you will be ready. The world will celebrate your fruit, but God trains you in the root. That is where the real work is done. Victory is not a moment. It is a mindset. It is developed when no one is watching and tested when everyone is. So stay in motion. Stay in alignment. Show up daily, even when no one applauds. Because if you can stay faithful in the shadows, you will shine without burning out in the light. Let the quiet refine you. Let the process mature you. Let the hidden place become your holy ground. For those who persevere in silence carry a strength the world cannot shake. And when the curtain finally rises, it will not reveal a lucky man, but a trained one, a proven one, a man who did not quit when no one was looking. 7, resilience isn't avoiding pain, it's mastering it. You will be hit, you will be bruised. Life guarantees impact. The storms don't ask for permission. They arrive uninvited, bringing pain, pressure, and disruption. But strength is not about escaping the blow. It's about how fast you rise after it. It is about the speed of your recovery, the steadiness of your mind, and the refusal to let pain define the next chapter. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher. You must train your mind to stop flinching in its presence. Stop labeling every struggle as an attack. Some pain is actually your promotion in disguise. Romans 5:3 declares, we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. Pain initiates the process. It develops something in you that comfort never will. To become mentally strong, you must rewrite your relationship with hardship. Shift the question. Don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this building in me? Don't retreat. Lean in. Let the hardship carve you, not into someone bitter, but into someone better. Ask your pain questions. Let it show you your limits so you can break through them. Let it expose weakness so you can replace it with wisdom. Frederick Douglass was born into suffering, chained, whipped, sold like property. But he did not let pain make him silent. He used it as fuel. He taught himself to read in secret. He refused to be mentally enslaved, even while physically bound. He rose with conviction. He became a voice no man could silence. His suffering did not destroy him. It promoted him. Because he used his pain, he transformed it. You do not grow because of the good times. You grow because the storm beat you down, and you stood up anyway. When others stayed down, you rolled over, planted your feet, and fought back. That is resilience, not perfection, not invincibility, but relentless return. Resilience is not about never falling. It is about making every fall count. It is about rising with something new every time you hit the floor. A new insight, a new layer of grit, a new fire in your belly that says, you may meet me, but I do not stay down. So let life hit, let it swing, let the bruises form, but do not crumble, do not collapse. Your scars are not shame, they are evidence. Proof that you were forged in adversity, that you survived what was sent to end you, and you did not just survive, you learned, you led, you leveled up. Mental strength does not show up when everything is easy. It emerges when everything is hard. It is the decision to keep showing up, to keep swinging, to keep believing when your heart is tired and your hands are empty. That's where true strength is born. So today, embrace the pain. Don't hide from it. Don't curse it. Study it. Let it shape you. Let it deepen you, because the fire you endure now will become the light you lead with later. And every storm that tried to bury you will only make your roots go deeper. You will rise, not because life is kind, but because you are resilient. 8, guard your mind like a fortress, because it is under attack. You're not just fighting laziness or bad habits. You are fighting messages, subtle, persistent, daily attacks on your mind. Every ad that tells you you're not enough, every distraction that pulls you from purpose, every doubt that whispers, "But try." These are not random thoughts. These are soldiers marching to breach the inner gates of your soul. And unless you guard your mind with intentionality, you will be overtaken without even noticing. Proverbs 4:23 commands, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. This is not just poetic advice. It is survival. Your mind is the control tower of your life. It determines the altitude and direction of your destiny. If the tower is compromised, the whole journey is corrupted. Thoughts become words. Words become actions. Actions shape outcomes. And if the thought is rotten, the fruit will be too. You must be vigilant, ruthless, not casual about what you consume, not casual about who you surround yourself with, not casual about what thoughts you let rehearse on repeat. You wouldn't let a thief stroll through your front door and take what he wants. So why let anxiety, bitterness, or fear camp out in your head rent-free? Mental strength begins with awareness. You must become the watchman on the wall. Who's knocking? What message is this? Is this building me or breaking me? Every unchecked thought is a potential breach. But awareness births discipline, and discipline fortifies the gate. Theodore Roosevelt, the man known for bravery, brilliance, and iron resolve, was not born a warrior. As a child, he was weak, sickly, and fearful. But his father, a man of vision, pushed him not only to build his body, but to forge his mind. He read voraciously. He trained intentionally. He studied nature, history, war, and policy. And over time, he transformed himself from fragile to formidable. By the time he entered politics, he was not a boy pretending to be strong. He was a fortress of conviction, because he had guardrails around his mind. You must build the same. You must choose your inputs as carefully as a king secures his castle. Choose books over gossip. Choose silence over noise. Choose people who sharpen over people who sabotage. Speak life over yourself. Because the most dangerous enemy is not the one outside your walls, it's the one you let inside. This world will test you, not once, not lightly, daily. The pressure will mount. The distractions will multiply. And if your mind is unguarded, you will fold, not because you were weak, but because you were unaware, unprepared, undisciplined. So draw the line today. Set the boundary. Build the gate. Begin with small habits. A morning of silence. A book that builds. A friend who speaks truth. A journal that clears the clutter. These are not luxuries. They are your armor. Your peace is not found in escape. It is built in protection. Guard your mind or surrender your purpose. Guard your thoughts or lose your voice. Guard your heart because everything flows from it. And when your mind is fortified, no storm can scatter you. No attack can shake you. You become the watchman, the warrior, the double witness of your own transformation. Silence is strength. Learn to say less and think more. In a world that rushes to speak, the strongest voice is the one that waits. The volume of your words does not determine your wisdom. Most people are loud because they're unsure. They fill the air with noise, hoping confidence will echo back. But the trained mind knows better. When your mind is disciplined, your silence becomes a weapon, a sharp one. You observe, you assess, you respond. You do not react. The untrained mind lashes out. The strong mind leans back. Ecclesiastes 5:2 warns, "Do not be quick with your mouth. God is in heaven and you are on earth. So let your words be few." This isn't just about speaking less. It's about speaking better. Your mind becomes sharper, stronger, more precise when it learns that restraint is not weakness. It is wisdom. Before you engage, breathe. Before you debate, listen. Before you lash out, pause and ask, is this building or breaking? Every word is a tool, either a deposit or a withdrawal from your future. Words are not harmless. They carry weight. They build bridges or burn them. And only a trained mind has the discernment to choose when and how to use them. Abraham Lincoln was infamous for his pause. He would write letters in the heat of emotion and then never send them. He would rehearse speeches alone before releasing them into history. That restraint, it earned him respect. It earned him power, not because he said more, but because he said what mattered. His influence wasn't in how loudly he shouted, it was in how carefully he crafted his silence. You must train your mind to find strength in stillness. Stillness is not stagnation. It is strategy. It is the calm in the storm that allows vision to lead instead of emotion. The world does not need more noise. It needs clarity, and clarity comes when the soul is not hurried. Don't strive to be the loudest in the room. Be the one everyone waits for when the noise settles. When the dust clears, the most powerful voice is not the first, it's the final. It's the one that speaks after the world has exhausted its opinions. And when you speak with precision, people listen. Restraint is not suppression, it is control. It is knowing that your words are valuable, so you don't throw them to the wind. You place them like bricks, carefully, intentionally, building something that lasts. Your influence grows not by the number of your words, but by the impact of them. So today, start practicing the pause. When tempted to speak quickly, pause. When tempted to prove yourself, pause. When emotions flare, pause. Let the silence do its work. Let your thoughts catch up to your mouth. Because silence does not make you passive, it makes you prepared. The strongest voices aren't always the loudest. They're the ones forged in stillness, refined by wisdom and released with purpose. Speak less, but speak truth. And when you do, your words will carry the kind of weight that moves rooms, shifts minds, and leaves echoes long after you've gone. Vision makes you mentally unshakable. Without a vision, you wander. You chase trends, fall into traps, and confuse motion for meaning. You become reactive instead of resolute, distracted instead of disciplined. But when your mind is trained on something greater than your circumstances, nothing can break you. Vision is not just a picture, it is a purpose, a reason to wake up with fire, a compass when the fog rolls in. Proverbs 29:18 declares, where there is no vision, the people perish. Vision is oxygen for the mind. Without it, thoughts suffocate under fear, boredom, and doubt. With it, the mind is set, determined, locked in. When you see the end from the beginning, you can endure the middle with fire. You don't panic, you press, because vision reminds you that pain is temporary, but purpose is eternal. You must train your mind to return to your vision every single morning, not occasionally, not when it's convenient, daily. Write it, speak it, pray over it, paint it so clearly in your mind that the world has no choice but to obey. because drifting is natural. Discipline is not. Vision is your anchor. Without it, you will be pulled by every wave of emotion, every gust of opinion. Wilbur Wright, before a flight was fact, it was a vision. He saw something no one else saw. He envisioned man in the sky when man barely believed in the possibility. He faced ridicule, crashes, failure after failure, but his vision held. It carried him through rejection, through mockery, through pain. He didn't just build an airplane, he built a new dimension of possibility. Because vision is not about prediction, it's about conviction. So what do you see? Not with your eyes, with your spirit, with your faith, with your purpose. Vision isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a whisper, a quiet knowing that says, I was made for more than this. Your job is not to figure out every step. Your job is to lock in on the finish line and keep walking when others sit down. Vision doesn't require a crowd. It requires clarity. When vision lives in you, you become unbreakable. Because no matter what life throws your way, you already know where you're going. You don't fold in chaos. You focus. You don't get lost in comparison. You lead. Vision makes you dangerous to delay, to doubt, to discouragement, because your mind is already there. Your body is just catching up. So write it down. What do you see? What are you building? Who are you becoming? Speak it until it shapes you, until it strengthens you, until you can look at the storm and say, you're not bigger than where I'm going. Vision is not optional. It is essential. It is what separates wanderers from warriors, sleepwalkers from leaders, victims from victors. Protect it, feed it, obey it. And when the world around you shakes, your spirit won't, because your destination is set. And when they ask how you kept going, how you stayed strong, how you refused to quit, you won't say you had all the answers. You'll say, I had a vision, and I trained my mind to follow it. Consistency is greater than intensity. It's not what you do once that shapes your life. It's what you repeat. Most people sprint, burn out, and wonder why nothing changed. They ride the high of inspiration, take massive action for a moment, then collapse under inconsistency. But the mentally strong, they understand a different law. Small actions done daily are more powerful than big actions done occasionally. Consistency trains your mind to trust you. Every time you show up, especially when you don't feel like it, you cast a vote for your future. You prove to yourself that you are reliable. And once your mind trusts you, you no longer need motivation, you have momentum. Momentum builds when action becomes habit, and habit becomes identity. Galatians 6:9 gives us a divine blueprint. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. This isn't just encouragement, it's a strategy. The harvest does not come to those who start. It comes to those who stay. Not those who feel like it, but those who follow through. To become consistent, start small, but stay loyal. Make one promise to yourself daily and keep it. Don't chase feelings. Feelings are fickle. Chase follow-through. Strength is built in the repetition, not in the inspiration. Your progress is not measured by what you do once. It's measured by what you repeat, what you refine, and what you refuse to abandon. Harriet Tubman didn't free hundreds overnight. She didn't wait for applause or ideal conditions. It was one journey at a time, one risk at a time, through forests, through fear, through the unknown. What carried her was not emotion, it was consistency. She had a mission, she had a map, and she had the discipline to repeat the journey. That's why her legacy still thunders through history. You don't have to be extreme. You don't have to be loud. You have to be faithful. Faithful to your goal. Faithful to your word. Faithful to your path. Do it again and again and again. Not until you're tired, but until it becomes what you are. Because true power is not in the burst. It's in the build. The daily discipline. The unseen grind. The choice to rise when no one is watching. The decision to push forward even when it seems like nothing is changing. But something is changing. You. Your roots are growing. Your character is forming. Your resilience is compounding. So today, make the small choice. Keep the small promise. Lay the small brick. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. Because brick by brick, habit by habit, day by day, you are constructing a life of purpose. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is glorious. It will take you places motivation never could. It will carry you across deserts that talent alone can't cross. It will transform your identity from a dreamer into a doer. And when the time comes, you will look back and realize, I didn't need to be extreme. I just needed to be consistent. Your environment is either fuel or poison. You are stronger than you think, but even the strongest mind can be weakened by the wrong environment. Your surroundings are not silent. They speak to your identity every single day, and over time their voice can either amplify your purpose or erode it. If you are constantly surrounded by fear, doubt, gossip, and laziness, don't be surprised when your vision begins to shrink. You may still want greatness, but you will begin to live small. 1 Corinthians 15:33 gives us a clear warning. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. This isn't just about friendships. It's about atmosphere, about energy, about the conversations, the habits, the media, the noise you allow around you. You cannot elevate your mindset while entertaining environments that contradict it. You cannot train for greatness in a place that tolerates mediocrity. To train your mind for greatness, audit your environment. What are you listening to? Who do you allow to speak into your life? What conversations are you tolerating that shrink your courage? What habits are you justifying that keep you small? These are not small decisions. They are destiny defining. Make your environment speak your vision. Fill your space with books that sharpen you, with mentors who challenge you, with silence that grounds you, with prayer that centers you, with order that strengthens your focus. Because chaos doesn't just distract, it discourages. Disorder makes discipline harder, and without discipline your mind loses clarity. Treat your environment like a garden. Protect it, cultivate it, because weeds don't need permission to grow. Toxic thoughts, unproductive habits, negative influences, they creep in silently. And before you realize it, the environment that once held your dreams now houses your excuses. Don't let it get there. Your environment is never neutral. It is always shaping you, either lifting you or limiting you, either reminding you of who you can become or reinforcing who you've settled to be. So choose what surrounds you with the same intensity as you choose your goals, because your surroundings will either echo your vision or extinguish it. This doesn't mean you must run from every challenge or isolate from the world. It means you must be intentional. You don't rise in isolation. You rise through intention, through designing your world to reflect the future you want, through saying no to what weakens you and yes to what builds you. Let your environment become a silent partner in your success. Let every book on your shelf speak destiny. Let every voice in your circle speak truth. Let every routine in your space reflect commitment. When your environment is aligned with your vision, your mind gains power. You stop fighting for clarity. You start operating with conviction. So take inventory. Not later, now. Clean the room. Delete the distraction. Block the noise. Invite the wisdom. Build an environment where greatness can breathe. And when you do, you'll notice your strength returns. Your focus sharpens. Your vision expands. Not because you changed who you are, but because you finally changed where you are. Your words shape your world. Every sentence you speak is a blueprint. Your words are not just descriptions. They are declarations. What you say about your future, your identity, your challenges, it's not mere reflection. It is construction. With every syllable, you are laying down bricks, framing possibilities, etching blueprints into reality. Speak long enough in a certain direction, and your life will follow. Proverbs 18:21 declares, "The tongue has the power of life and death." That is not metaphor. It is mechanism. Your mouth is a weapon. With it you either bless your future or curse it. You build with belief or you break with doubt. Words have memory. They echo in your mind long after they leave your lips. Mental strength requires verbal discipline. You cannot speak defeat and expect victory. You cannot say, "I'm not good enough," and build confidence. You cannot declare limitations and expect expansion. You must speak like someone who already has what they are working for. Faith does not wait for evidence. It speaks it into existence. Franklin D. Roosevelt, paralyzed from the waist down, had every reason to speak from pain, but he chose to speak from power. In the midst of a broken nation and a global crisis, he declared, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." That single sentence cut through despair. It didn't just inspire, it lifted an entire generation, because words, when aligned with vision, carry weight. You don't need to be a president to speak power. You don't need a title to speak truth. You only need to believe in what you say, and say only what you believe. Speak what builds. Speak what heals. Speak what commands your feet to move when your feelings say stop. Your words are your wand. They summon courage. They silence fear. They remind your mind where it's going. Speak like your future depends on it, because it does. Speak like you are the architect of your outcome, because you are. So train your tongue. Be precise. Be intentional. Don't let sarcasm plant seeds of self-sabotage. Don't let insecurity disguise itself as humor. Words are not harmless. They are instructions to your subconscious, instructions to your surroundings, instructions to your future. Build a new habit. Speak life over your goals, over your body, over your relationships, over your calling. And when you don't know what to say nothing until you can speak from strength. Because silence rooted in self-control is more powerful than noise rooted in fear. Speak as if it is already done. Speak with authority, with clarity, with conviction. And as your words rise, your world will follow. You are always casting spells with your speech. Make sure they build the life you were born to lead. 14. Decide before the world decides for you. The strongest minds don't wait for opportunity. They define it. They don't react to life. They decide how life reacts to them. Strength is not found in circumstance. It is forged in decision, not in perfect conditions, but in unshakable clarity. You can wait for the world to open a door, or you can decide to build one. Because the starting point of strength is not luck, it is choice. Deuteronomy 30:19 says, "I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life." Choice is not just a privilege. It is your divine responsibility. You are not a victim of chaos. You are a steward of decision. And when you train your mind to choose intentionally, you remove confusion. You cancel hesitation. You silence fear. Decide WOUR. Decide what you want. Decide what you are no longer available for. Decision is a declaration. It is a line in the sand that says, "I'm not going back." It doesn't require applause. It requires alignment. Your clarity must be louder than the world's noise, louder than other people's opinions, louder than your past. Once you decide, 90% of distractions evaporate, because you're no longer debating direction, you're moving in it. The world respects those who move with conviction. They may resist you, they may mock you, but they will remember you, because the man who knows where he is going can never be ignored. Look at Henry Ford. The world told him he was wasting time. They mocked his obsession with the horseless carriage, but he had already decided. While others debated, he created. While others mocked, he moved. While the world argued about what was possible, he redefined what was. And history had no choice but to follow him, because decision precedes destiny. Your power begins the moment you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start choosing your direction. Even a flawed decision is stronger than a fearful delay. Action is clarifying. Waiting is weakening. Movement reveals what standing still will never teach you. So stop asking for signs. Be the sign. Declare it. Move on it. Adjust as you go. You don't need the whole map to take the next step. And you don't need everyone's permission to start. You are not here to be chosen by the world. You are here to choose who you will become. Train your mind to lead. Don't outsource your direction. Don't delegate your destiny. Decide. Decide with your thoughts. Decide with your words. Decide with your habits. And when doubt creeps in, as it always will, remind yourself, I already chose. I already committed. I already crossed the line. Decision is power. It simplifies life. It multiplies results. It separates those who try from those who transform. Don't wait to feel ready. Readiness comes after movement. So take the step. Choose the future. and make the world respond to your conviction. The storm doesn't break you. It builds you. You don't discover your strength in calm weather. You discover it when everything shakes and you're still standing. Strength is not forged in comfort. It is revealed in crisis. The storm does not mean you're off track. It often means you're exactly where you need to be. Because the moment resistance shows up is the moment growth begins. James 1:2-4 reminds us, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." The storm is not your punishment. It is your gym, your teacher, your refiner. It strips away illusion. It shows you what you really believe, and it builds the muscle memory of resilience. You must rewire your thinking. Adversity is not rejection. It's elevation. Pressure does not mean you're weak. It means you're being prepared. When the storm hits, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this preparing me for?" Because every storm has a purpose. Every trial has a lesson. And every shake has the potential to strengthen your foundation. Don't just survive the storm. Study it. Let it teach you who you are. Let it expose the cracks and reveal the core. Let it reveal where you need to grow. Let it show you how to walk through fire and keep your peace. Because storms don't come just to disrupt. They come to develop. You may be in a storm right now. Everything may feel uncertain. The winds may be howling. But hear this. This storm is not your tomb. It is your training ground. It is where you learn to stay calm when others panic. It is where you plant deeper roots. It is where you become unshakable. Stay calm. Stay planted. Speak faith when your feelings scream fear. Declare strength when the world predicts your fall. The storm is not here to define you. It is here to refine you. And when it passes, you'll see what it left behind. Clarity, conviction, and character. You'll come out stronger, wiser, sharper, and most of all, anchored. Because the man who stands tall in the storm is the man who cannot be moved. He doesn't just endure the winds, he learns to move with them, to bend without breaking, to be still without giving up. And when the wind finally stops and the sky clears, you will realize something profound. You didn't just survive the storm, you became it. Fierce, focused, formidable, a living example that the storm was never bigger than the strength within you. You must think long-term while acting daily. The mentally weak chase immediate comfort. They live for the next hit of dopamine, the next distraction, the next shortcut. But the mentally strong, they build for decades. They understand that success is not just about the next day, it's about the next decade. If you want a life that outlives you, you must master a powerful paradox. Act with urgency, but think with patience. Every strong mind holds two clocks, one for now and one for forever. You act with the urgency of today, knowing that every small movement matters. But you think with the endurance of someone who is building for eternity. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Wisdom is knowing the difference between what is urgent and what is important. You train your mind for greatness by attaching short-term effort to long-term purpose. Every decision, what you eat, what you read, how you think, how you show up, is not just a moment. It is a vote for the kind of life you are building, a vote for who you are becoming. So don't just ask, does this help me today? Ask, will this matter 10 years from now? Will this compound in my favor? What about you? Are you building something that echoes beyond you? Are your daily habits contributing to a legacy? Are you making decisions your future self will thank you for or resent? The choice is always in your hands. A legacy mindset changes everything. It shifts your patience. You stop getting frustrated when results take time because you're not playing a sprint. You're running a marathon. You stop comparing your timeline to others because your eyes are fixed on a different horizon. You start building with conviction instead of craving validation. The mind, once trained on eternity, stops getting distracted by the temporary. You stop quitting just because it's hard. You stop chasing applause and start chasing impact. You become a builder, not of moments, but of movements, not of comfort, but of consequence. And here's the beauty. When you build for forever, you automatically win today because every action gains weight. Every choice gains meaning. You stop wasting time because time now feels sacred. You stop wasting energy because your energy is now tied to purpose. So today ask yourself, am I just living or constructing? Am I merely existing or investing in a future I may never fully see, but others will live inside? That is the calling of the mentally strong. To move fast, but think far. To hustle in the moment, but harvest over a lifetime. Because you weren't made to just succeed. You were made to leave something behind. 17, fear is a liar. Call its bluff. Fear will visit. That's a guarantee. It knocks on every door, whispers in every mind, and tries to stake its claim in every dream. But fear has no right to stay unless you entertain it. It is a guest, and you are the gatekeeper. Fear thrives in silence. It multiplies in delay. But when you confront it, when you speak to it, write it down, walk toward it, it crumbles. 2 Timothy 1:7 declares, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." That verse is not just encouragement, it is identity. You were not designed to live under fear. You were designed to rise above it. Fear is not your home. Boldness is. Clarity is. Power is. And you must train your mind to return to its rightful place. Fear is tricky. It dresses itself as caution. It pretends to be wisdom. It wears the mask of protection. But most of the time, fear is just smoke with no fire. And you don't have to run from smoke. You only need to blow. You train your mind to handle fear by dragging it into the light. Name it. Speak it. Ask it questions. Is this even true? Is this the full story? What evidence do I have that this fear deserves my energy? 9 times out of 10, fear has no evidence. It's built on what might happen, not what is happening. And the only thing giving it power is your attention. The more you delay, the more it grows. The more you avoid, the more it gains weight. But when you move toward it, fear loses its form. It shrinks. Because fear cannot survive in motion. Stop waiting for fear to go away. It doesn't disappear on its own. The mentally strong do not sit and wait for perfect peace. They act in spite of shaking hands and trembling voices. They walk toward the stage even when their heart races. They step into the meeting even when doubt screams. Because courage is not a feeling, it is a decision. Your courage is not the absence of fear. It is your choice to move anyway, to act while afraid, to speak while unsure, to keep building even when the outcome is unclear. Every time you move through fear, you send a message to your mind, I am not ruled by emotion. I am led by intention. That's how the mentally strong are made. Not by avoiding fear, but by learning to navigate through it. By normalizing discomfort, by seeing fear not as a wall, but as a threshold. On the other side of fear is everything you want, peace, growth, impact, legacy, but you will never touch them if you let fear decide your pace. So today, name the fear. Write it down. Face it head on. Don't shrink. Don't stall. Don't rehearse defeat in your mind. Move, speak, lead, and watch fear fade. Because once you train your mind to stop bowing to fear, you will stop living beneath your potential, and you will start stepping into the strength that was always yours to begin with. 18. Rest is not weakness. It's strategic power. Mental strength is not just about grinding. It's about guarding your energy. You are not a machine. You are not made to run on empty, to ignore fatigue, to wear exhaustion like a badge. Even soldiers sleep. Even kings withdraw. Rest is not quitting, it is reloading. It is not weakness, it is wisdom. Exodus 28 reminds us, remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. That command wasn't just for ritual, it was for resilience. It was God's design for rhythm, a mental and spiritual reset, a sacred pause to reflect, recover, and realign. Because even the creator of the universe rested, and if he did, so must we. You train your mind by scheduling your recovery as seriously as you schedule your hustle. Not just once a year, daily, weekly, rhythmically. Take quiet walks that slow your breath. Fast from noise. Step away from screens. Spend time alone, not to escape, but to refocus. Not to abandon the mission, but to regain the clarity needed to execute it. George Washington understood this deeply. In the chaos of the Revolutionary War, he didn't just swing swords, he studied silence. He knew when to engage and when to wait. He wasn't just strategic with his army. He was strategic with his energy. That's why he didn't burn out halfway. That's why he endured to the end. And because he paced himself, he prevailed. What about you? Are you running on fumes? Mistaking busyness for strength? Filling your calendar but emptying your soul? There is no prize for burnout. There is no crown for collapse. You are not designed to constantly do. You are designed to be, to breathe, to build with intention. Burnout is not proof of hard work. It is proof of poor boundaries. The mentally strong don't just know how to go. They know how to pause. They know how to protect their peace like treasure. They know that productivity without presence becomes empty achievement. Rest doesn't make you soft. It makes you sustainable. It sharpens your vision. It strengthens your spirit. It returns you to the battlefield prepared, not depleted, because clarity comes in stillness. Power returns in pause. So pause, step back, get quiet, recharge, not just when you're forced to, but before you're forced to. Make it a discipline, a declaration. I honor my mission too much to sabotage it with burnout. Then return to the field with renewed fire, with focus that cuts like a blade, with calm that can't be shaken, because the rested mind is a dangerous weapon. It sees what the rushed mind misses. It endures what the tired soul fears. Mental strength isn't just about how long you grind, it's about how well you guard. So guard your energy, guard your peace, respect the rhythm of greatness. Because those who finish the race aren't the ones who run the fastest. They're the ones who refuel when necessary, recover without guilt, and rise again with clarity in their eyes and endurance in their bones. Comparison destroys focus. Run your own race. The surest way to weaken your mind is to look sideways. Comparison doesn't just distract you, it drains you. It corrupts clarity. It clouds judgment. It whispers lies. You're behind. You're not enough. Someone else already took your spot, and none of it is true. Comparison is a thief. It robs you of joy, of focus, of momentum. And the worst part, you hand it the keys every time you scroll, every time you measure your progress by someone else's timeline, every time you let their highlight reel become your measuring stick. But Galatians 6:4 offers a higher path. Let each one examine his own work, not comparing himself to someone else. That's not just advice, that's liberation. Your only real competition is the person you were yesterday, not your neighbor, not your colleague, not the person with more followers, more money, more recognition, just you. That's the race. That's the mirror. That's the mark. You train your mind by choosing gratitude over envy. Every time you see someone win, celebrate them. Say out loud, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me. Not as a cliche, as a conviction. Their win does not take anything from you. Their lane is not yours. Their blessing is not your burden. Then return to your assignment, double down and run. Mental strength demands that you stop obsessing and start building. You can't master your mission while studying someone else's map. You can't water your garden while staring at your neighbor's. Focus is fuel, and every ounce of energy you waste comparing is energy you could be using to create. Remember this, greatness is custom built. It doesn't come from copying, it comes from clarity. You were not designed to be a clone. You were designed to be a calling, one of a kind, hand-picked, commissioned for something specific, something sacred. And when you understand that, comparison loses all its power. Look at the greats. They were not watching the crowd. They were setting the pace. They stayed in their lane. They refined their craft. They tuned out the noise. And because of that, they stood out. So stay locked in. Applaud others. Cheer for them. But build your own. Every minute spent watching someone else is a minute lost. Investing in yourself. Be inspired, not intimidated. Be motivated, not distracted. Your mind becomes stronger every time you return to your vision, every time you redirect envy into excellence, every time you trade distraction for discipline. This is how you rise, by locking in on what matters and letting go of what doesn't. So today, Choose freedom. Freedom from comparison. Freedom from false timelines. Freedom from feeling behind. You are not late. You are becoming. And no one can beat you at being you. Focus. Build. Rise. And remember, when your mind is trained on purpose, comparison loses all its power. 20. You were born to lead, so act like it. Mental strength is not just for you. It's for those you're called to lead. Your discipline is a blueprint. Your mindset is a model. Every thought you control, every emotion you master, every goal you pursue, it's forming a path for someone else to follow. Whether you realize it or not, you are being watched. And what you demonstrate will either pull others up or let them down. Matthew 5:14 reminds us, you are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. That's not poetic fluff. That's a mandate. You are not just called to survive, you are called to shine. Light doesn't whisper. Light leads. And when your mind is trained, your presence becomes a standard in the room. You train your mind by embracing responsibility. No more hiding. No more shrinking. No more waiting for someone else to step up. You are not a background character in this story. You are a leader. Whether in your home, your job, your community, someone is watching how you move, how you respond, how you carry weight. And leadership is not about titles. It's about tone. It's not about command. It's about consistency. People don't follow the loudest. They follow the clearest. And clarity comes from mental strength, from choosing peace over panic, strategy over reaction, vision over validation. Clara Barton, a nurse during wartime, surrounded by chaos, death, pain, but she didn't fold. She didn't wait for permission. She led relief efforts, built the American Red Cross, saved thousands, not because she was appointed, but because she acted. Her mind was not fixed on fear. It was locked on duty. That is leadership. You must do the same. Stop underestimating your influence. You don't have to be in a boardroom to be a leader. If you have a voice, you have power. If you have a pattern, you have influence. Someone is watching how you handle pressure, how you speak when you're frustrated, how you keep going when it's hard. And your example might be their permission to rise. Every decision you make ripples into someone else's life. The words you speak become their inner voice. The standards you hold become their expectation. You are not just building your life. You are shaping legacy. Mental strength is not selfish. It's sacrificial because it lifts others. Lead with excellence, not perfection, not image. Excellence. Show up fully. Stay grounded. Be sharp. Be steady. Lead with peace. In a world of chaos, your calm will cut through the noise. Lead with power, not with ego, but with example. Because the mentally strong don't wait to be crowned. They lead like they're already chosen. They walk into rooms like answers. They carry themselves like solution. And the world follows that. So today, step up, speak up, stay strong. Not just for your future, but for those assigned to your shadow. You are the light. Don't dim it, direct it. Because when your mind is strong, your leadership becomes unstoppable.